Good afternoon, everyone. I greet you with Hotep, Habarigani, Yemem Hotep. It is so good to see you. It is so good to be in your presence on this afternoon. We will begin with a libation, and for those who can and for those who will, if you would please stand for the libation. We say, Sifa Oteina Maumba Weusi, Sifa Oteina Mababa Weusi, Sifa Oteina Maisha Weusi, Sifa Oteina Wote Weusi. In traditional African society, a libation is the recognition of the ancestors, of those who came before us. For in African society, life exists on 3 levels. There are those who walked before us who now lie within the earth, those who yet walk on top of the earth, and those who shall come after us, those yet to be born. A libation is the calling forth of the ancestors to be present and asking their approval of this gathering for an African society. As long as you are remembered, you are yet alive. Because of this, we call out the names of those who have gone before us. We call upon the spirit of Harriet Tubman, Sheikh Anta Diop, Nat Turner, John Henry Clark, Jacob Carruthers, El Hajj Malik El Shabazz, George Washington Carver, Mary McLeod Bethune, Gabriel Prosser, and Carter G. Woodson. We right now acknowledge their lives, their sacrifices, and all that was taken from them. In the name of America, we pour this libation. We call upon those ancestors who were stolen from the birthplace of humanity, Mother Africa, Al-Kebalan, Nubia. For them, we pour this libation. We call upon those who were forced into the Christian ships that kidnapped them from the birthplace of humanity, Mother Africa. For them, we pour this libation. We call upon those who were enslaved in the Americas and throughout the diaspora, those whose names, culture, language, history, customs, and spirituality were taken from them as they were transformed into a being called a slave. For them, we pour this libation. We call upon those who were beaten into submission day after day, while the life force was beaten out of them as they refused to be conquered. For them, we pour this libation. We call upon those who were forced to bear children, who were degraded, dehumanized, and reduced to non-existent status. For them, we pour this libation. For all who bore the brunt of man's brutal inhumanity to man, for those who did in spite of when they could not do because of, for those who did the possible under impossible circumstances, for all of them, we pour this libation. For those who refuse to be defined by slavery's definition of themselves, we pour this libation. And unto those who have stood for all that is good and right and decent and in order, we pour this libation. Again, we say, Sifao te ina maumba weusi. Sifao te ina maisha weusi. Sifao te ina mababa weusi. Sifao te ina wote weusi. Hotep, Hotep, you may be seated.
and gentlemen, a warm, hearty round of applause. Yeah, clap your hands, everybody. Oh, my goodness. Drum and dance, Najwa Dance Corps. Clap your hands one more time, everybody. Yay, Bo. That was beautiful work, y'all. Hey, everybody, I'm your MC. My name is Oba William King. I'm the poetic storyteller. It is my honor and pleasure to be here. We want to say thank you very much to the sister who led us in libation. Sister Makeda, thank you. Asante Sana, sister. Beautiful, welcoming in the ancestors. And we all know why we're gathered, but we don't quite know what's to come. We have the president of Malcolm X College, Mr. Ghingo Brooks, is here to bring him up to the stage with a warm and hearty round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, I see a few people clapping, so what I'm going to ask you to do is please stand up. This is the president of the Malcolm X College, so please would you stand and give him the respect and honor that he is due. I am your host and MC. I'll be telling you what to do all day long. All right.
That is wonderful. Thank you, brother. Well, Habari Gani to everyone. How is everyone? Happy New Year and happy Black History Month. Are you all ready to celebrate? Now, we should be celebrating 365 days a year, we know, right? But we're not just black for 1 month. We are black 365 days. This is a fantastic day today. And as the brother said, I am Ghingo Brooks. I am the proud president of Malcolm X College. And I am also proud of the work that we've been doing to reach out to our community and bring them into Malcolm X College, which we also call the New Karnak. The New Karnak. About a year or so ago, we started the Karnak Wellness Institute because we realized that in addition to the good work we were doing inside of the building with our health science programs, our transfer programs, our adult ed programs, our continuing education programs, we realized that we needed to do more outside of the building. And for that, we decided to come up with the Karnak Wellness Institute. This is the kickoff of the Karnak Wellness Institute. On Tuesday, we kicked off Black History Month with a fantastic program where we invited many youth from our Chicago public schools. And with the good graces of our chancellor, Cheryl Hyman, who invited these people in, and we fed them not just entertainment, but also education. And we talked about Black history, and we talked about the many people who have contributed to Black History Month and to Black history in general. And then we also fed them. So we kicked it off beautifully, and now we're here today to kick off Karnak beautifully for the spring series. And we're kicking it off with none other than Dr. Peace. Now, Dr. Peace is our modern-day Harriet Tubman. She's leading us to freedom, freedom of our minds. And that is the purpose of Karnak. It's just not talking about dietetic technology, what to eat. We're talking about how to live a productive life that is going to help to change the community. But we have to start it with ourselves first. We have to change ourselves. And that's the purpose of Karnak, to reach out to each and every person who will come every Saturday at 3 o'clock and sit down and listen to Dr. Peace, the modern-day Harriet Tubman, and all of the speakers that we have lined up to come out and share their knowledge and wisdom with us to help the next generation. And so I'm so glad and so encouraged to see so many young people here with us, because Karnak is about the family. It's the family that we aim to help, to grow, to keep healthy, and to be positive contributors to our society. So we thank you for that. I'm supposed to just talk about the moment. And the moment is now, because we know things change from moment to moment. In an instant, your life can change. One decision can change your life forever. So in this moment that we're in, let's recognize who we are as a people. Who we are as a people and what is our role as a people. We can either be a conscious people or a reactionary people. Which one are you going to choose to be? A conscious people or a reactionary people? We need conscious people because this society is not designed to make anyone conscious. It's not designed to do that. It's designed to make money and to continue the status quo. If you want to change the status quo, you have to change your consciousness. So we welcome you to Karnak because that's the purpose of the Wellness Institute, to change our consciousness, to make us better people, and want to change our community for the betterment of everyone. Najwa, thank you for your dances. Thank you for being conscious all these years, maintaining and keeping our culture alive and well. There's nothing to be ashamed of when you're black. There's nothing to be ashamed of. That culture, that presentation makes me feel so good, and I see it all the time. Najwa is living and presenting the culture all the time. We just did it 7 days a week for Kwanzaa, and it's just beautiful to see our culture presented to us. There's nothing ashamed, young people, about being black. There's nothing ashamed about our culture. Yes, we've had some ups and downs, but that's all cultures. We've built pyramids. And we've done drive-bys. We've done the gamut. But that does not negate who we are as a people. We have a great history. I'm so happy that Dr. Peace is here to begin Karnak for the spring series. And it's going to be a fabulous evening today. So we thank all of you all for being here. We invite all of you to keep coming back to Malcolm X College, the new Karnak, to continue your education, to participate in Karnak every Saturday. We're streaming live. And so we want everyone to turn off their cell phones, and you go to malcolmxcollege.edu, and you click on Karnak, and we are streaming live. So if you want to, before you cut off your cell phones, call a friend, call your mother or father, call a neighbor, and tell them stream live, see us at Karnak, and know that we're making a difference in our community, in our people, and in the world. So let's get ready to receive the new Harriet Tubman, who's been out here taking people on the Underground Railroad for many years and leading us right to freedom. Let's welcome, let's put our hands together, let's love this sister, let's recognize this sister for the great work she's done, Dr. Gloria Peace.
Hotep, 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 Hotep. Thank you so very much. President Brooks, you know you just went overboard there a little bit, but I thank you for the compliment, and I compliment you because this is a beautiful facility in which to pay tribute to our ancestor. And if you look around you, you will see you're basking in her energy. If you look over there, you will see Dr. Burroughs. And on every screen in this room, there is something going on that has something to do with Dr. Burroughs. According to the official autobiography of Dr. Margaret Victoria Goss Burroughs, Life with Margaret, that's her book. She came forth on November 1st in the year 1917 in Louisiana in St. Rose. At the age of 5, her family moved to Chicago, where she spent the remainder of her life as a student, a wife, a mother, an artist, and a poet. She was also the consummate scholar, having acquired by 1995 7 honorary doctorates. In addition, she was a teacher of art and history, 27 years at DuSable High School, 10 years at Wilson Junior and Kennedy King College. Dr. Burroughs is a legend. She is an icon. She is a builder of people and of institutions. Dr. Burroughs was a principal founder of the DuSable Museum of African American History and the Southside Community Arts Center. Thus, she empowered us to develop ourselves artistically as well as to study our history, not just during Black History Month, but virtually every day of the year. Dr. Burroughs was a fierce advocate of social justice. Among her primary concerns were the economic progress of our community, the welfare of inmates both inside and out of prison, our positive self-esteem, our own and that of our children, and the legacy that each of us, including herself, will leave to our descendants. Dr. Burroughs said of herself, "I am but one, but I am one. I cannot do everything, but I can do something. What I can do, I ought to do, and what I ought to do, I will do." She also said, "I am poetry, I am art, I am words. These are just some of the components that make me Margaret Taylor Goss Burroughs." What follows are just some of the words she has left for our reflection. What shall I tell my children who are Black? What shall I tell my children who are Black of what it means to be a captive? In this dark skin, what shall I tell my dear ones, fruit of my womb? Of how beautiful they are when everywhere they turn, they are faced with abhorrence of everything that is Black. Villains are Black with Black hearts. A Black cow gives no milk. A Black hen lays no eggs. Bad news comes bordered in Black. Black is evil, and evil is Black. And devil's food is Black. What shall I tell my dear ones raised in a white world, a place where white has been made to represent all that is good and pure and fine and decent, where clouds are white and dolls, and heaven surely is a white, white place with angels robed in white, and cotton candy and ice cream and milk and ruffled Sunday dresses and dream houses and long sleek Cadillacs, and angels' food cake is white. All white. What can I say, therefore, when my child comes home in tears because a playmate has called him Black, big-lipped, flat-nosed, nappy-headed? What will he think when I dry his tears and say, yes, that's true, but no less beautiful and dear? How shall I lift up his head and get him to square his shoulders, look his adversaries in the eye, confident of the knowledge of his worth, serene under his sable skin and proud of his own beauty? What can I do to give him strength that he may come through life's adversities as a whole, humane human being, unwarped and human in a world of biased laws and inhuman practices, that he might survive? And survive he must, for who knows, perhaps this Black child here bears the genius to discover the cure for cancer, or to chart the course of the universe. So he must survive for the good of all humanity. He must and will survive. I have drunk deeply of late from the fountain of my Black culture, sat at the knee and learned from Mother Africa, discovered the truth of my heritage, the truth so often obscured and omitted. And I find I have much to say to my Black children. I will lift up their heads in proud Blackness with the story of their fathers and their fathers' fathers. And I shall take them into a way back time of kings and queens who ruled the Nile and measured the stars and discovered the laws of mathematics, upon whose backs have been built the wealth of continents. I will tell him this and more, and his heritage will be his weapon, and his armor will make him strong enough to win any battle he may face. And since this story is often obscured, I must sacrifice to find it for my children, even as I sacrifice to feed, clothe, and shelter them. I must find the truth of heritage for myself and pass it on to them. None will do it for me. In years to come, I believe, because I have armed them with the truth, my children and their children's children will venerate me, for it is the truth that will make us free. Hotep.
Brother will roll it around so that he can go over there and put his hand and pick her, but she, you know, like real fast. My brothers and sisters, one more round of applause, please. Yes, you see that I carry with me at all times. This here is the red, black, and green. This is the flag of our people. You know, these are the most beautiful colors I've ever seen. My friends, if I could just take one moment to share this with you, I'll say the words, you say them back. Red, black, and green. Red, black, and green. The most beautiful colors I've ever seen. That's all we get right now, because we're going to move our program forward. And I know that we've had our dance by our wonderful group who've come here from Najwa Dance Corps. Mr. George Ward is now going to continue with this energy as we celebrate life and legacy of the beautiful and wonderful Dr. Margaret Burroughs. So, Mr. Ward, would you make your way to the stage? And ladies and gentlemen, as he comes, clap your hands, everybody.
It is indeed a pleasure to be here, and I'd like to give special thanks to Dr. Gloria for inviting me here to be part of this great moment. The president of the college, President Brooks. This is indeed an opportunity. We had a little music to accompany my hoarse voice. I asked the technician to put that on anytime he wants to. That's the second track. It is indeed, again, an honor and a pleasure. I am a friend of Dr. Burroughs. I had the privilege of being with her the last 2 days of her life. Her niece invited me over and said, George, if you want to see my aunt before her, in her final moments, you better get over here now. So I went by and got some roses, red roses. She loved red roses, you all know that. And we talked and read poetry together, and she was in and out of conscious. And she passed on the next day. So I had some quality time with her during the last moments. I had known her, like many of you, for years and years, and I promised her that I will read her legacy at the Art Institute that they had in October, but she managed to get there on her own. And shortly after that, she went on into her resting place. But I want to read a poem that I promised her called Legacy. What Will Your Legacy Be? By Dr. Margaret Burroughs. She lived her legacy each and every day, every moment, every hour, inspiring and challenging others to do the same. She crafted, she shaped, she impacted with her art, her words, her deeds, and her life will be forever etched in our memories. The legacies that she built during her life will go on in our hearts. What will your legacy be? She puts this challenging question to you, to you, to you, and to me. Legacy. Her last poem, Legacy, she wrote. The word means property or money left to someone by a will, though in this poem she's not referring to material wealth. Instead, to what you've done, some deed, some service you rendered during your life that God has given each of us. What will your legacy be when you finally cast off these mortal coils, when you can no longer run life's race, when you have completed the circle round, when an escape is no longer to be found? Legacy she wrote. What will your legacy be? What deeds have you done in your lifetime that will be remembered in the hearts and minds? Will it be the fact that you helped someone along the way? Will it be similar to the legacies left to our generations by people like Tubman, Wells, Brown, Bethune, who left of their lives bridges for us to cross over on? So what will your legacy be? What will you be remembered for? Stop for a moment. What will your legacy be? Dr. Martin Luther King's legacy, he devoted his life to fighting for the dream, full equality and dignity of men. Sir Joyner Truth fought for the liberation and equality of women across the land. John Brown sacrificed his life in his protests to end the evils of slavery. Bessie Coleman, James Weldon Johnson, Paul Robeson, Dr. Carter G. Woodson, Booker T, W.E.B. Du Bois, Jean-Baptiste Point DuSable, Dr. Margaret T. Burroughs, co-founded with her husband Charlie, and a few faithful friends in their living room at 3806 South Michigan Avenue, the first Black History Museum in the country and indeed the world. And it became a living monument, And today there are over 200 such institutions across the land. These are just a few who left of their lives legacies as bridges for us all to cross over on. So I ask you again, what will your legacy be? Do you know? Have you thought about it? This is the prime moment for you to think and get work identifying what you will leave as your legacy. You are here, you're alive, and you're quick. You have time on your side, time even now to get busy. Do something to help somebody, to improve the condition of life for people now and for those who to come after. Building institutions and educating and broadening the minds of our youth, eliminating poverty, make your life a bridge for others to cross over on. And this contribution will be your legacy. And your name will be remembered from now on into eternity. I ask you all to repeat after me. Think now and act now, and to ensure that your legacy will be a positive contribution to all humanity. And your name will be remembered on and on into eternity. What will your legacy be? What will your legacy be? Thank you.
We find ourselves in gatherings like these, and we have opportunities to hear the wonderful words of Dr. Margaret Burroughs, and also think about our own contributions that we've already made to society, things that we're doing and the ways that we're going and the ways that we're working. This is a beautiful gathering here, both young and old. I see as many young people who have hope in their eyes as I do the elders who are hopeful that we have left a strong enough legacy. We've opened a path big enough for them to follow. Our next performer is one of those hopeful elders. He's not quite as old as I am, but he's been in the game for a long, long time. His primary work now is with the youth, helping to encourage them to do their thing through words, spoken word, writing, telling our own story. That's probably the most power we could ever possibly give to a young person, is the power of understanding the power of their voice. We're going to take just a moment to set him up along the stage area here. Change the dressing just a little bit, if you would, please. But this is Keith M. Kelly, y'all. One of what was known as the fucking wordsmiths. Yeah, he was a fun. I believe I said that. Yeah, baby, funky comes in a whole bunch of different colors, but being born in Greenville, South Carolina, y'all get scared when we say it because we put that southern twang on it. One of the funky wordsmiths, and he's here, and he's going to put his sound system and everything together for you all to have a taste of his beautiful, wonderful talent. I see great people in the room, and I like you people, so I'm going to say hi to a few folk and look at you and look at your eyes. Y'all can look back at me. Y'all say hi. Hey. We're streaming live, so you understand that people who are watching at their computers are kind of wondering, who am I talking to and why? So I'm going to need you all to make a little bit of noise. And I think what we'll say in this moment of noise is just us. Who's going to make a difference? Who's going to tell our story? Who's going to get good grades? See, we are examples for our children, so as long as we do the right thing, they can't help but learn from us. Brother Keith M. Kelly, I believe, is just about set up with his electronic menagerie of sound and, wow, word and story, playing with the African talking drum there to our one side, and others might wonder, what is that right there? The thumb piano, the mbira, and he's got it amplified as we know that elder Baba Kalan Phil Karan would amplify he called Frankie-phone and bring those sounds to our front, right? My friends, we are now ready to present Keith M. Kelly.
I'm not sure how much I take too kindly to be calling, what was that you called me?
A former funky word.
Oh, no.
Oh,
Yeah.
an elder, man.
But,
Take good breaks.
well, trust me, when you work with teenagers, you get called old a lot.
Yeah.
But Dr. Peace asked me to do a piece on honoring our ancestors. And so, being a wordsmith, I looked up the word ancestors in, a few dictionaries. And a couple of things stuck out to me. First of which is that what most people consider to be an ancestor is not really an ancestor. Because, how many people in here would consider Harriet Tubman one of their ancestors? Unless you're actually related to her, by definition, she's not your ancestor. However, that brings into play another concept. That's the concept of ancestor veneration, or what some people call ancestor worship. And if you think about that whole 6 degrees of separation thing, everybody's ancestors, but another poem, another time. But so what I did, I have the honor and privilege to be the nephew of Edna Frances Kelly Smith, who compiled a genealogy for my family. And it goes back to Limas Kelly. Funny, we were Kellys all the way back to slavery. I'm not sure, because the funny thing is I haven't found where the Kelly name came from, because the family that owned us in Texas was the Strouds. However, Limas was actually born in Africa. So in honor of Limas, this first piece is going to be, don't worry, they're short pieces. It's going to feature the talking drum. Can we remember the African Holocaust? The millions lost. The lives it cost to raise a nation of millions. Can we remember the African Holocaust? For 28 days, we celebrate, we commiserate, we pontificate about a black thing we ain't even come close to understanding yet. For 28 days, we race for memories. For 28 days, a nation of millions within a nation of millions struggles and prays for leap years. We make history every day and remember today. Thank you. Now, this next piece is a piece that I did with the Funky Wordsmiths. And one of the things I learned in this whole genealogy is that a lot of things, because like, for example, in disregard the program, there's been a change in the program. Keith Kelly, K-E-L-L-Y, is not going to be here today. Because I'm Keith Kelly, K-E-L-L-E-Y. And that's in honor of my ancestors, because we've been K-E-L-L-E-Y since slavery, since after slavery. And you know, how many people are familiar with the migrations that took place? Well, my family, good. Anybody, here's one of the things I learned about my ancestors, because you know there's some Irish in me somewhere. And yeah, something, right. Well, how many people heard of passing, the concept of passing? Okay, so passing means basically that you what? What was the sister right there? You try to be white. Well, most of the time for us it meant we tried to be white. However, I found out, or rather somebody in my family found out, that we had a gentleman in our family that passed as black because he married a black woman in Texas in the way back days. I forget. I had the date in my head all the way till I got here. But he knew that it'd be easier for him to pass as a black man than for his wife. And, you know, back then they had, like, families. So for him and his, I think, 7 children to pass as black, because, you know, to pass as white, because, you know, somebody's going to pop up, woo, you know, jet black out of nowhere. And it's like, whoa, hey. But this last piece is, oops, let me make sure I got a clean track. This last piece is in honor of Dr. Burroughs' work with the youth, because I work with the youth with Spoken Word Academy of Chicago. What's up, y'all? I hope you're working and writing. So this piece is for the youth. Not that tune. Nope, wrong gig. Feed your child the truth. We don't live somewhere off in Never Never Land where a crocodile hisses at the heels of Captain Hook.
its belly, tick-tock, ticking away the inevitability of justice. We don't live in some magic fairy tale by the Brothers Grimm where wolves eat little girls who take food to their grandmothers. We live in America. We live in America, America, the land where the wolves are foolishly trusted to shepherd the flock. We don't live on some magic PBS playground where revisionist Purple Dragon sings new and improved nursery rhymes to Cathode Ray, United Colors of Benetton Poster Children's Chorus for NEA and MacArthur Foundation politically incorrect reasons. We live in America. We live in America. Chuck D says, America eats its young. The marvelous Marvin Tate says, the mind, 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 the mind is a terrible thing to mess up. Maria McCrae says, pass it on. James Brown says, pass the P's. Well, I say pass the P's, the A's, the B's, and the 1, 2, 3s. But literate children aren't any less palatable to America, just tastier. Because everybody knows America loves spicy ethnic foods. Yeah. If America eats its young, feed your child. Season your child with the truth. Because the ravenous beast called America might need a case of food poisoning. Because see, we live in America. We live in America. We work in America. We play in America. We pray in America. Our children are considered prey in America. And if we don't want them to be consumed by America, we got to raise more inedible youth. Bon appetit, America. Bon appetit. Thank you.
We want to thank Keith M. Kelly, and as he breaks down, we're going to begin right away with Sister Masequa Myers. Clap your hands, everybody.
Good afternoon, Habaragani. And for those of you who do not know what Habaragani means, it means what's happening, what's the news. So I can venture to say the news today is all about Sister Dr. Margaret Burroughs. And I am so honored to be here this afternoon and to have been asked by Dr. Gloria Latimore-Peace Latimore to take part in such a monumental occasion. I am going to cut my intro short, but let me just say that my family, my mom and my dad, brought me to the museum that was in Dr. Burroughs' basement of her home before the DuSable Museum and et cetera, right? Yes, and so I have lived a part of her legacy. I was a teenager, and then I went on to attend and graduate from Kennedy King College, and Dr. Burroughs was my Humanities 101 instructor. And the legacy continues on and on. And what I'm going to do right now is read a poem by Dr. Burroughs, and it comes from the collection of poetry that is entitled, What Shall I Tell My Children Who Are Black? This particular poem is called Beautiful, Black, and Beloved. Hear me, heed me, my beautiful, black, and beloved, wherever you are and whatever your station, be you blue collar, white collar, or no collar, listen. Black Jesuses in steel mills and stockyards, black geniuses sorting and carrying mail, black Madonnas residing heavenwise, black runners to the corner pub, young black scrawlers on ghetto walls. Listen, all of you beautiful and black beloved, I want to talk to you, about me, about us, about our black selves. A glory people. I wish to speak of image, of black image. I wish to speak of beauty, of black beauty, to show you how beautiful our black people are. I want to smash your mirror reflecting alien vision, an image not akin to you, which causes you to reject your own very best and beautiful self. I want to make you proud of your satin ebony skin and the wiry crispness of your black strong hair, or the rounded flaring of your nostrils, or the expressive fullness of your lips, or the large, dark pools that are your eyes, and the lithesome grace of your athletic bodies. I want you to be aware of the gifts of black folk to this new world and the entire world, of how you, beautiful and black beloved, gave profound meaning to the word religion, enriched a barren land with music and rhythm, set unmatched model for generosity, kindness, discipline, endurance, hope, and self-control, and courage, and bravery, and compassion. I want you to know these things about yourselves, about us, to truly know them and believe them. To spread this word to all black sisters and brothers, to counter the hateful racist propaganda with these truths, to imbue your black generations. And above all, my beautiful black and beloved, to cleave together in unity, all as part of a whole, and to love each other and work together so that our black people may become, as Du Bois the sage says, our own very best selves in Dio. In the words of Dr. Margaret Burroughs, Asante Sana.